the Coffee and the Company Podcast.
Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you for having me.
Such an honor to have you, man.
Really?
Yeah, such an honor.
And then how come you're not paying me?
Because it's a non-profit organization.
Good answer.
But
By the way, thank you for the free coffee. I loved it.
yeah, you deserve it.
Yes, sir.
You deserve it.
Okay.
Every time you see me, I'm sure you have a free coffee.
You know something? Now, whenever I get a free coffee at any car showroom, I'll think of you. I'll judge that cup of coffee you made for me against whatever that's served to me in every car showroom.
Yeah, that's very unfair and unfortunate for the
Car showrooms.
other baristas
Yes.
because they don't do podcasts with you.
And also, they don't make coffee like you.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yes.
They don't have my height as well.
Yes, and some of them have got a better shaped body.
Anyway, Daniel,
Yes.
it's my honor
Thank
to
you.
really to see you in the person. I've been
Okay.
listening to your voice in BFM Radio Cruise Control
Mhm.
for the past, I think, since 2018.
Yes. It's
Really
been a long
captivating
journey.
me.
Right.
I have another friend, also fanboy of yours.
Really?
Yeah, we've
Really?
been talking about, just me and him always talk about you,
Yeah. So in total, I have 5 fanboys.
including Richard Bradbury.
yes. Richard is my biggest fan. He's my club president.
But the reason why that really captivated me personally, I'm not really a car person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
glad.
But the way the show being carried out really caught me.
Okay.
I remember I was driving to one of my students' house.
Mhm.
Then I was just browsing through BFM radio. Then you guys were talking about JBJ stuff,
Okay.
the new regulation.
Okay.
So that is something. Hey, how come JBJ stuff that appears in a car show?
Mhm.
Then I listened longer, right? You guys started talking about used car review at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So how come I never have any car show by listening?
Yes.
That
Because car
really-
show is very visual.
Very visual.
Yes.
Very visual. You can get it everywhere from YouTube.
Correct.
And everywhere from TV.
Right.
But not in listening format. That really caught my attention.
Right.
And I'm really glad you guys are here and to update whatever car launches that I do not know.
Right.
I do not see.
Yeah, because you're busy with your business, your life,
Yeah.
your 17 children, your 3 wives.
Yeah.
You have no time to actually sit down and watch a lot of YouTube or go to websites and find out what's happening in the car world, especially in Malaysia.
Yeah. That's very accurate.
Yes.
In your world.
Correct. That's my world. You see, people say, oh, there's a lot of car enthusiasts out there. Yes, but they're all working hard because why? To pay for their car installments. They got no time to sit down and listen to all this. Watch all this. So when we offer this on radio, and of course it's on a podcast also, it's easy for you to get attention from it.
Yeah. That's why I really appreciate you.
Okay.
Yeah, you and Richard Bradbury and
Ali is our producer.
Ali Johan.
Yes.
And Arif Roos.
Arif Roos has already
time.
left the building. He got
Yeah.
a better offer,
Yeah.
so he's gone into
I believe.
PR. Yes,
I believe.
Yes.
But what happened to used car reviews? Nowadays, you guys don't do used car reviews anymore.
Okay, what happens is used car reviews are a little bit touchy. Okay, I'll tell you why. You see, when you talk about a new car, it's very easy. It's a new car. Everything is new. Everything is already presented by the manufacturer. We just impart some knowledge and what our feelings are about the car. But when you talk about used car, for example, now we talk about a 20-year-old Perdua, for example. Okay, there could be a Perdua out there that is in perfect condition, one owner, and well maintained. Then there could be another one used by a contractor that's ready to be scrapped. But when we do that review, BFM Cruise Control is the number 1 radio show
Yeah,
in
I
the world.
heard this, few millions of episodes.
72 million listeners. So all those people listening, okay, some of them will say, hey, is this car going to be perfect or is this car going to be a junk? There is no middle ground. Then there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of questions unanswered.
You're talking about a lot of different conditions.
Different conditions.
Because different owners.
Yes.
Right?
And then also this car, for example, take a Myvi. A Myvi was running on sale for like 11, 12 years with various facelifts. But it's basically the basic car is still there, the older Myvi I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, is it the 8-year-old one, or is it the 15-year-old one, or is it the 12-year-old one? So it's very hard to get a common ground where everyone will understand what we're talking
And
about.
agree upon.
So I have to find unusual vehicles to talk about when I'm doing used car review. For example, my latest used car review is on an Alpha 147. Alpha 147 is not a very common car.
Yeah, talking about Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a very common car. There's not many on the road. But you look at it, if you're not a car person, you might say, is this car 20 years old, 25 years old, or is it 5 years old?
Yeah.
So something like that, when we talk about less controversy, less questions answered. The other thing is also used car dealers sometimes get upset with us.
Oh,
Because why? Because we tell you what we think the value should be.
you're talking about custom, right? Used car.
I'm not mentioning anybody. You mentioned it. So sometimes they get upset. They said, no, actually the value is so much. Because why? They want to earn some money. It's a
company, right?
Yeah, it's a company,
business,
it's an ecosystem. They have to earn some money. But we can't be there to say, hey, this is the correct value. Because why? That car in the used car dealer might have been refurbished completely by the used car dealer at a cost of 3,000 ringgit.
I see.
But the car sold by Mr. X from his home, which is putting on the classified, say Facebook Marketplace, he's not done anything to the car. He's just selling it as is. So very, very difficult to make everyone happy. So used car reviews, we don't do as often. We pick and choose.
There were times that, especially during the MCO lockdown, you guys were doing almost every week. There's a
Yes.
used car review.
Because that
Rare
time,
Jam.
because that time there were no new car launches.
I see.
So when there's no new car launches, what else do? You do used car reviews. And I've been doing used car reviews for almost 25 years.
I see.
So I know used cars. I'm not a mechanic and all, but I know what to check. I know what to look out for. Of course, as the car gets newer and more complicated, the technology gets more refined. It's more difficult for us to evaluate cars because now the newer cars are so high tech. I need to bring my laptop and everything to check the car. Like EVs, you have to check battery health. I won't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I won't know how to check the health of the motor, for example. Not the engine, the motor, the electric motor is running.
Yeah.
So these are things which we won't be able to do. So when you talk about electric cars, it's a totally different segment.
Yeah.
Plug-in hybrids, the same thing. They got engine and motor running at the same time. They got lithium-ion battery also running. So we have all these issues. So I rather do older cars.
I see.
Combustion engine cars, diesel cars, petrol cars, older cars, because there's still a lot of people out there who are looking for a simple older car to buy used.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So that's why that during the lockdown, because I have a friend as well asked me, or asked me to ask you.
Tell me.
They're coming, yeah. So he told me he enjoys a lot about your used car reviews.
Yes.
About the rare jams and JDM stuff like that.
Correct.
And suddenly, how come it's like every week it's the new cars nowadays? So that's why he asked me to ask you this question as well.
Right.
So, but we really appreciate your performance in the show.
Thank you.
And especially you have a very dynamic chemistry with Richard. Very dynamic Richard.
I like the word dynamic. I think it's a love relationship.
A little bit bromance over there. But tell me, right? You were saying before we started the recording this, you were saying before this you were doing as a marine engineer,
Yes.
general manager in the company, right?
Yes.
So what happened? What makes you transition from that into the car reviewer?
Okay, so
am I right that after that you started to this business?
Correct.
Okay.
So what happened is in 1997, the financial crisis hit Malaysia. Every company was having problems. The company I worked for had problems. They were a great company, great bosses. They really look after the staff. But financial crisis is a financial crisis. So they had to let go all the staff. I was the last staff to be let go, and it's sad because it was like I said, it was a fantastic company. But anyway, so I was unemployed for 2 years. 2 years was tough. Finished up my savings. I had to sell my two treasured cars. I always been a car guy.
That
A Golf GTI Mark II,
GTI, yeah,
8-valve Mark II Golf GTI, very rare car,
and Mazda.
and a Mazda MX-5. Had to let go. That was the hardest car to let go because I love that car. And then an opportunity came. with a startup. At that time, there was a magazine called Asian Auto. It's Malaysia's oldest car magazine.
Wow, yeah. Now talk about that. I kind
Yes.
of remember there's this cover at the magazine store.
Yes. So Asian Auto was a very successful car magazine. That time, the British car magazines were not here. So what happened is the owners of Asian Auto, which was a publicly listed company, wanted to go digital.
I see.
This was before we all went digital. They were already thinking of digital. So they started asianauto.com. So the initiators of this business, the .com business, not the magazine business, spoke to me and said,
Okay.
hey, you're a car guy. Can you come in and do some content? And we went to school here.
Okay.
Kita pergi sekolah.
Yeah.
So we knew how to write. We knew how to read, Lucky lah, our parents sent us to school. And I was a car enthusiast. I had a lot of experience with cars already by then. So they said, can you do a little bit of writing up? I said, yeah, sure. So they hired me, small salary, but it was a start. So I went in there as a content writer for tuned cars.
Okay.
Because I used to play around with tuning, junkyard modifications, whatever else. And I had a lot of friends even then used to come and tell me, hey, I'm going to change this rim, change the suspension. Oh, I want to upgrade my engine. I want to pot and polish my head. Oh, I want to use dual Webers, things like that. And this was the time when everyone was talking about, upgrading their cars. And street racing was a big thing. We used to go to Cheras and see street racing. We used to go to Batu Tiga and see,
There was a time like Fast and Furious, number one.
It was before Fast and Furious. This is before you were born, my friend. This is a long time ago. This is the
I think
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And then coming up to the 90s, So I had some knowledge and I built up on it. And then sadly, the .com crash came 1 year later. So asianauto.com folded.
Okay.
And the whole team went, today it'll be the number one website in Malaysia, I think probably. Anyway, so that folded, all the investment money was gone. But the magazine was still running. And the magazine was struggling. The magazine was struggling to make ends work. Yeah.
That time.
Yeah. Of course, magazine business was good at that time, but somehow or other, Asian Auto was having trouble. And it was because it was run by people. It was still owned by the public listed company, but they gave it to people to run it who were not business minded.
Okay.
They were writers. Now, I had a business mind because I had a business degree. So, I medicated. So, what happened is, one day, the owner of Asian Auto, the public listed company, called me in and said, we're closing down the magazine because it's not making money and this and that and everything else. So your contribution, I used to contribute some articles, is no longer needed. So I said, why are you closing down? This is the number one magazine, blah, blah, blah. He said, no, we're not making money. So I gave him a proposal.
They make money through advertisers.
They make money through sales and advertising. Now, if you just make money through sales, it's not much because the print cost is high.
The print is not that much, right? I
Yes.
mean, the cost margin.
No, cost margin is very low.
Yeah.
So you have to have advertisers. But even if you have advertisers, you still need good content. And then if you're paying a lot of money for content, it doesn't make sense. So I gave him a business proposal to turn around the magazine. But I said, if I turn around the magazine, I have to be the editor. I have to manage the magazine for you. So he agreed. He gave me a chance. He agreed. And within 3 months and 3 issues, I turned around the magazine and made it profitable.
Asian Auto.
Asian Auto.
Sorry.
Asian Auto.
Yeah.
So I was the editor of Asian Auto for a decade.
Okay.
And it was very successful until the foreign magazines came in, the foreign titles came in.
Such as?
Top Gear, Evo, Talk. These are all foreign titles. There were a lot of other foreign titles that came in. Motor Trader came in, Autocar came in.
Yeah.
They all came in. Now, all this...
Motor Trader been around for long time, right?
Yes. Motor Trader was around...
Classified and
yes, but
reviews.
Asian Auto was there before. But Motor Trader was classifieds only at that time, not content. Now, all these foreign magazines, of course, you have to pay royalty fee and all that. Plus, all these magazines were funded by big companies with big money. That means they can afford to lose money.
Okay.
Now, a lot of them were losing money. But there was a price war. Like now we have the Chinese EV price war.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
There was a magazine price war. So they were charging cheap for advertising and this and that. So after a decade of running Asian Auto, I told my bosses at the public listed company who owned Asian Auto, I said, I think we have to go digital. They were not too keen to go digital because they had a bad digital experience
Mm-hmm.
11 years earlier.
Okay.
So they said, Daniel, we're not interested to go digital. Now, because I was a contractor, I was not an employee. I contracted to run the magazine.
I see.
They said, if you want, you do it. They said it like, buy the buy. Hey, you want, you do it, lah, So that's when I decided to do DSF.MY.
I see.
And DSF.MY, when I was thinking about it, a very, very close friend of mine who's in the IT industry,
Mm-hmm.
in 3 hours, one evening after dinner, he set up the website for me.
3 hours.
In 3 hours, he set up the website for me.
Okay.
It was a simple website. He said, here you go. Because I didn't know anything about, I'm not an IT person.
Yeah.
So he set up the website for me. He said, okay, here you go. Here's the domain name. Go and have fun. I just came up with the name DSF, Drive Safe and Fast, which is also my initials, Daniel Sherman Fernandez.
I see.
And I started the website. And then I took about maybe 2 years to build up a following.
Okay.
Because why? You can't get a following immediately.
Yep. You need time to build the traffic,
Yes.
right?
Also, at that time, not a lot of people were online. Because the foreign magazines, my competitors for Asian Auto, were still running. They were still being funded. Losing money, but still being funded.
I see.
And after a while, one by one, they all shut down. Like the last one to shut down was actually Top Gear Malaysia.
Okay.
Okay. Way before that, Evo shut down, Autocar ASEAN died, Motor Trader is, barely surviving, and a few other titles I don't want to mention. They all completely went into...
Were they not digital at the time? Were they not?
They were not digital. They were all still physical magazines. Now, of course, they're digital, but they're too late.
Yeah, but I think Top Gear were quite famous, were top TV shows.
Because of the TV show, they were top. But of course, when the old presenters all left, it slowly went downhill. And even recently, came out in the news, Top Gear Singapore also closed down.
Oh my God.
They gone bankrupt, they closed down. So all the foreign magazines, all the British, Australian and American magazines that were in Singapore and Malaysia have all basically gone kaput. And now it's all localized websites, local owners like myself and all my competitors. There's so many in Malaysia, there's so many in Singapore. They're all localized names.
I see.
Localized owners. There's no royalty fee, nothing like that. So nothing is going back to England, America, or Australia, which is good. Keep the money within the country, So we are all doing reasonably well. Some are doing very well. Some are doing okay. We are doing reasonably well. And then we just grew. The DSF just grew. And after the second year, it grew faster than I could imagine. So I was a one-man show for a long time. Then as it progressed, I needed to hire people.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't do it by myself.
Yep.
And then I had to convert my website to a more professional website. The earlier one was, one of these free web producers, free platform providers. So nothing all that special, very simple. It's like, you just plonk in some content and some pictures, but it's not arranged properly. There's no proper format.
Something better than Blogspot.
Yes. So it took 2 years, but after 2 years, when I saw a little bit of money coming in, a little bit of advertising money coming in, I spent the money, converted it, got a proper server provider, got a proper, back-end system.
I see.
Because why? The traffic had already come in, and you want to make sure that the back-end system is running properly.
Yeah, I see. How long is DSF.MY, the website?
Now it's exactly 13 years old.
13 years old.
13 years old. First 2 years, like I said, hardly anything, but the last 11 years has been very good.
I see. How good is it? Very good. You mean you're talking self-sustainable?
Oh, I've been self-sustainable.
And then
for the
you
last
have
7-8 years. Yeah.
Invitation from car brands and stuff like that. Visibility to them.
Because of my relationship with Asian Auto, I had visibility with all the car brands already.
Oh.
But by the time DSF had come along, everybody knew me already.
Okay.
And of course, some like me, some don't like me. Some have sued me.
Yeah.
Some love me.
Yeah.
I prefer the word love.
Yeah.
Not sue, but if you in Malaysia, if you say something negative about a car brand or their after sales or their handling of a customer, they get a bit upset.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But we do this not to go to court. We do this not to fight. We do this not because we have free legal services. No,
Yeah.
we do this because
Consumers.
we think about the consumer.
Consumers, yeah.
I am always the person who thinks about the consumer simply because my friends, family, people I know, people around me, when they come and ask me for car advice, I advise them based on me test driving a brand new car.
Yeah.
After they have the car for 2-3 years, they start having problems and they're not looked after. I think it's unfair because why? I'm talking about people, which majority of Malaysians middle class.
Yeah.
They have 1-2 cars. Most of them have 2 cars. Some may have 2 cars and a motorcycle. Now, these cars are important because they need to send their kids to school. They need to pick up the kids from the babysitter after work.
Yeah.
They need to send the daughter for ballet, the son for music class, the son for basketball class, the daughter for tuition, whatever. When you don't have a car, you have to rely on public transport. And public transport, no matter how good it is, you can't do it like this morning, heavy rain. How do you use public transport? You got to get to the train station.
Yeah.
Even you got to get to the bus stop. No matter how good the public transport is, you got to get to that place to pick up the public transport.
Yeah.
So when you have kids, you need a car. And then suddenly your car is in the workshop for 3 months, 4 months. On top of that, you're paying for the installment of the car. And then you're relying on what? Taxi. Taxis are not cheap. And then came Grab. Then came, Lala Move, whatever, all this providers,
Yeah.
they're still not cheap. You can't be using it every day while you're still paying for your car installment.
Yeah.
Now, car companies have an obligation to honor the warranty. Yes, cars, for every X amount of cars you produce, there'll be 1 or 2 that we call lemon. That's why the thing lemon law.
Yeah.
But we don't have lemon law in Malaysia. So all you can do is go and bang on the door of the service department and say, I want my car back, I want my car back. Some of these cars don't come back fixed. They just do partial and then say, oh, take back your car because you're making so much noise. They drive the car, then they break down. Can you imagine this morning how heavy the rain? You're driving to work. On the way, you're sending your child to school and your car breaks down.
Breakdown, yeah.
You paid money. I'm not talking about a 10-year-old, 20-year-old used car. I'm
Understand.
talking about a car still under warranty.
Brand new.
And you've done the preventive maintenance and the car breaks down. Because why? It's a global defect. It's a global problem. But you have not looked after your customer. I don't want to mention the brands because the legal cases have already been taken care of. But it's still happening with modern cars. We still see it every day.
Yeah.
Even up to recently, there are still people complaining about new cars.
Mm.
Now, some of them, false claims. So when people come to me, a lot of people over the years, because I've built up a small reputation of helping enough people in the industry, people share my information and say, if you have problem, contact Daniel from DSF. So I do get every week people from different brands calling me or emailing me or messaging me and saying, I got a problem with this car. Some of them are very detailed. Some of them I tell them, listen, I don't think I can help you. The car is under warranty, please go back. Because why? When I look at their information, some of these people are a little bit OTT lah. That means I cannot see a real reason to help them.
Yeah.
But some of them who sincerely need help, I go all out. And then car companies get upset with me. Sometimes I tell them, don't be upset with me. I'm not here to make life difficult for you. I'm here to make life difficult, make life easy for the consumer and you, because maybe your service center is not addressing this problem. Maybe your after sales is not addressing this problem because they're just too lazy. There are a lot of lazy people out there in after sales. There are also some very good people.
Yeah.
Okay. Then a lot of the car brands that are selling right now here, the cars come from foreign countries. In different countries where there's lemon law, these cars are being recalled. Some of them are being repaired.
Can you explain what is lemon law? Like what kind of country do they have lemon law? Like
Okay.
UK, Singapore?
UK has it, America has it, Europe has it, Japan has it, and recently, few years ago, Singapore has it.
Okay.
Now, the moment you have lemon law, you open a whole can of worms. And why I say a whole can of worms? Because things get very itchy and dirty. There will be people who come and tell you, I got 72 problems with my car. Actually, he's only got 2 problems. He'll create another 70. Because there are some people out there who are just weird.
Taking things advantage.
Yes, taking advantage. So lemon law is basically saying that your car is a lemon. I don't know why they say lemon, because I like lemons.
Oh yeah.
You know, they should call it chicha law, you know, caterpillar law or something like that. But they call it lemon law. It was created overseas. So it means your car, it's a term like, oh, your car is such a lemon, or your motorcycle is such a lemon. That means there's something wrong with it. Now, the first major case that came to my table many years ago when I first started DSF was a man who had a very expensive car, who had records of the car being in the workshop 17 months out of 24 months. And when I went and approached the distributor and the workshop workshop general manager, he actually admitted this car came like that. When you mass produce anything, handphones, this hat, your coffee machine, whatever, there'll always be one machine that's a little bit
Yeah, few percent is defect, right?
defect. It's a
Always
defect.
problem on.
That's the right word,
Yeah.
defect.
Yeah.
But because you don't have lemon law, you let the defect go. So this man had a genuine problem. And this man, luckily, he's a rich man with few other cars, but he was getting fed up because up and down going, up and down going.
Yeah.
So finally, because I came into the picture and put some pressure, they bought back his car.
Okay.
Now, of course, they buy back at a depreciated price, but it was still a very acceptable depreciation, and he bought back another car from them. Okay. The next car he bought was perfect. Same model, same, everything same, just different color.
No issue.
No issue. So
Yeah.
you know that car is a
Lemon.
real defect car. Recently, we have seen on the news, you've seen on YouTube, you've seen on social media, so many cars being called, defective.
Yeah.
Some of them, you watch the YouTube videos, this is all an actress or actor at work. Sometimes a rival company will pay someone to do this.
Oh,
It happens.
you
It
got
happens.
insight.
Yeah. Sometimes you have people with an agenda.
I see.
So they come and do this. And then you see that they've done it with other things also. They've done it with consumables, maybe a TV, a fridge, even a property developer. Because why? These people are just non-stop complainers.
I see.
And they get away with it because social media has become so powerful. Because now, if I post something on social media and say brand A is useless, there will be 100 people who will be behind me. Yeah, brand A is useless. Boycott, boycott. I won't say anything more. Then you'll have one or two people say, hey, true or not? This guy is just making this up. So we investigate. That's why we investigate and look further before we publish, before we pass judgment. Because we don't have lemon law here. There could be two ways of looking at
So
it.
the lemon law basically will protect the consumers.
Yes. But if lemon law came into Malaysia, can you imagine all these people will have a field day sending back their cars and saying, I don't want this car is lemon.
Oh.
So the Malaysian government also has to be very careful about lemon law. We need lemon law here, but they have to be very careful how to implement it and how to safeguard the companies also. Because why? Companies are producing this. There are jobs at stake. There are factories at stake. There are a lot of money at stake. But if you have consumers who are also taking advantage, it's not right. So it's a balancing act lah.
Yeah. You before we started this session, right? You were saying that you landed your first gig at radio station in Light FM.
Yes.
Yeah. Before you move on to BFM radio.
Correct.
So how did you first landed into this gig, Light FM?
Okay, so I knew some people in Light FM at that time.
Yeah.
And one day I just had a chat with them, and I said, why don't you do a car show, but on radio? So everyone looked at me a bit, like, car show, you need to have a video.
Yeah,
You need to
because
have-
usually it's like TV show, YouTube
Yes,
video.
Yes. I said, at that time, of course, YouTube wasn't as big as it is
I
today.
see.
lah.
I see.
But I said, nobody's doing a car show on radio. And, people are in the car listening. We can describe and then say, hey, if you want to know more, come to DSF, So you're also driving traffic to my website.
Yeah.
But when people are sitting in the car, and, with traffic jams, people are sitting in the car for hours.
Yes.
And if you have my show running on the radio at the time when people are driving, to me, it makes sense. Then they said, well, let's see. So after a while, they called me back and said, okay, we've done some research. Also, because we have some car advertisers coming on the radio on different stations and advertising their products. Let's see how it goes. So we started the show. It was a 1 hour show. At first, it was I wanted an unscripted show.
I see.
Yeah. I think by having a script, you're reading the news, you might as well just watch the news.
Yeah.
Like a news reader. Because I'm attending car launches, I'm test driving cars, I'm absorbing the auto industry 24/7. I think I can just, wing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm winging it right now. I don't have a script. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, of course, we are doing
Yeah.
podcast, right?
Yeah. So I said, let's try it live. And they were very uncertain because why? You've got all these rules and regulations about bad words, politics,
Obviously.
offensive propaganda.
I think
and all
radio
that.
station is regulated by the
Yes,
government,
yes.
right?
And you have to be because you don't want people to go out there and say silly things. So of course there's a few seconds delay. So the person who co-hosts with me will have a little hand on the button, If I say anything
Oh, save button.
Do you have one here?
No, I don't
So
have.
I'm going to say some really terrible things. No. So anyway, so we started the show and then it was live and then we took live callers. It was quite interesting because people would call up.
Okay.
And then it came to a point after a few years, we had regular callers. Every week they're calling up. So we had to no, I cannot take this caller. I cannot. Because why? They're going to ask the same question, We had even had people calling up and saying, oh, I'm at kilometer blah, blah, blah along the Plus Highway. I'm broken down. Can you help me? I said, I'm in the studio. How do you want me to help you? And then some people just call up and say, hi, how are you?
Did you really receive that on air?
Oh, yes.
Okay. How do you
You'd
counter?
be nice to them. Say, oh, please call the Plus hotline. So quickly, I have my laptop in front of me. I will look at the Plus hotline and say, can you call this number, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And they'll come and help you because I'm in the studio. I can't help you. But see, when people break down, they panic. When they panic, if they happen to be listening to my show, hey, I can call this guy because he just said, call the line at blah, 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 and we'll take your calls right now.
Yeah.
People panic. So the show is doing very well. Of course, there are some people who talk nonsense. There are some people who ask for silly things,
How many callers do you take?
We could only take a certain amount of callers because content was already so long.
But 2 hours is really quite long for any show. Any show.
Yeah, so we could only take so many calls. Sometimes we take 5, sometimes 10, sometimes 3, depending on how intensive the caller is also. If the caller is making a lot of sense, I want to spend more time with them to help them out. Because a lot of times, because at that time already, we were talking a lot about used cars.
Yeah.
I've been doing used car reviews for the longest time.
Yeah.
Okay, from the time I started. So with used car reviews, you can explain a lot to the people on air. But when someone calls in, you can explain more.
Yeah.
You get more detailed.
You get more engagement.
Yes.
You get more
engaged, yes.
new kind of questions, right?
Correct,
Different
correct.
perspectives.
Yeah. So the show went well, but on the 7th year, in the middle of it, one day the one short, funny-looking New Zealander, I think it's New Zealander, who looks like Hogwarts or something like that, who happens to be a senior guy there,
Okay.
comes in and says, "We don't need your show anymore. Please don't come back."
Okay.
Okay. I was very angry because, first of all, you didn't call me in for a proper meeting. You didn't tell me if I was doing something wrong.
Okay.
And at that time, they already had advertisers on the show, car companies.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're just telling me literally to blah, 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 off lah, and very rude. I said, okay, I've had it. Because why? Then I realized, can you imagine for 7 years, you do a live show every Sunday,
Then suddenly the fan cannot call you up anymore.
Cannot call you up. But not only that, you can't attend weddings.
Why?
You can't attend parties. Because why? You're prepping for the show in the morning. You finish the show. How do you go? If your wedding is in Penang, how do you go for the wedding? If the wedding is in Ipoh, how do you go? If the wedding is Kuantan.
Yeah.
And I'm Indian, We got too many relatives, And a lot of them get married, And then they want us to come, and we have to show face, I was not attending so many weddings, even on my
For the
wife's
past
side.
7 years.
Yeah, even on my wife's side.
But there was a time that Zoom wasn't a thing, because I believe your cruise control during the lockdown, you guys were doing it separately at your home.
This is, I'm
at your
talking
homes,
13,
right?
14 years ago.
Yeah.
So after 7.5 years, when they said stop, I said, okay, fine. So I stopped, took a break. Then I realized I could attend weddings, attend parties. And then, my kids were young that time. Weekends, you can't go for a weekend break.
Yeah.
Because the show is live. I can't pre-record the show.
Yeah.
So a lot of things were missed out. So I said, fine. So I started having great weekends because most of our test drive cars are also on weekends.
Yeah. So you're compromising that as well.
Yes. So to me, I sacrificed a lot for the station. The station didn't appreciate me. I say it now. You heard it here first. Light FM did not appreciate me. Anyway, but they were good to me. They were good to me, in other ways. So it's just that one short idiot. I won't mention his name. Anyway, so left and everything was quiet. And then one day, I met the people at BFM. And they told me...
Do you know anyone from BFM last time before you...
I had a few friends who had shows there.
And how many months of hiatus between BFM and Light FM?
Less than a year. I can't remember the timeline because I'm old. I can't remember things. But what happened is one of the guys doing a show there, who was a good friend, he said, hey, you should bring a show here. I said, yeah, but no one is calling me and I don't want to call them. Then he said, no. I'll speak to the person in charge. So the person in charge the GM called me up and said, let's have a cup of coffee and chat. So we met up, and the team liked what I had to offer. And of course, like any radio station, they were talking about, whether car companies would advertise and all that.
Yeah.
I said, well, Light FM had a lot of advertisers, but they lost most of it. So I'm sure now if we bring the show to BFM, BFM may not be nationwide, but majority of car buyers are in Klang Valley.
Yeah.
And even those outside Klang Valley, when they buy cars, they drive into Klang Valley, turn to 89.9, listen to BFM, and then decide what car they want to buy.
Yeah. Also, like they have Spotify as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they loved it. We started the show. The only difference is no live callers.
Okay. Are you planning to have that?
I think it's a bit difficult because the show is only 40 over minutes.
Yeah.
So there's not enough time to take live callers.
Yeah.
And I think when you deal with BFM, because BFM has got a massive loyal following.
Yeah. Like someone like me also.
Exactly. So if you have live callers, the show will probably go for 3-4 hours. Because as cars get more complicated, as cars get more interesting now with electric cars and hybrid cars and all that, there will be more questions people will be answering. Because even like now, when I go to a coffee shop or I go to a restaurant, I'm not a recognizable person because I don't put my face anywhere. I'm not on, even on Facebook, I put cars, I don't put my face.
YouTube can see your face, what?
I don't do a lot of YouTube. I'm not a big fan of YouTube.
I see.
The reason is because I look at it very simply. I like my privacy. And I think a lot of people love to be famous. That's why they go on YouTube. They want to be noticed. They want to be celebrities. I'm happy for them. I'm not interested. I'm happy to have my privacy when I go out with my family. I want to have dinner. I don't want people coming up to me and saying, hey, my car got this problem. Hey, can I take a selfie with you?
Or then suddenly becomes ambassador of customer service for cars.
And in KL, Klang Valley nowadays, even the few people that, okay, I'll give you an example. I'm sitting in a coffee shop, not in a coffee shop, in a restaurant, where there's food and drinks and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting with my family and I'm talking to my wife, I'm talking to my son. My sons like cars, they like motorcycles. So I'm talking to them. I'll just be talking like this. I say, last weekend I got this car and everything else, Because now they're in college. So when we go out for meal, it's when we have real conversation. Somebody at the table behind will turn and say, excuse me, are you the guy from BFM?
Yeah.
Because the voice.
Yes.
It has happened many times.
It happens to you?
Yes, it has happened many times. And then I said, no, that's my brother. He said, no, it's you. Then they'll come over. They're very polite. They'll come over and say, hey, hi, hey, I heard you say this, you say that and all that. Hey, by the way, I want to buy this car. What do you think? Then I'm thinking to myself, hey, I'm having a meal, So I always make a joke. I said, do you know that I'm also a doctor? They said, huh? I said, yeah, I'm a doctor. So like when you go and see a doctor in a clinic, you have to pay for consultation. See. So now, if I'm going to consult you, are you going to pay me? And then they like look at me now because I'm joking, of course. I said, no, I'm just joking. Some have even offered to pay for our meal. And I said, no, I cannot accept that because why? With social media so rampant, I don't want someone to say, oh, I paid for this guy's meal.
Yeah.
And then put it on social media. And then
claim for that.
Yeah. So even when I go out, if people want to buy me a drink, I said no. Like just now when you offered me the coffee, I said how much?
Yeah.
Because I want to pay you for it,
Yeah.
I know it's expensive because the beans are special and all that.
Yeah, and the equipment also are very expensive.
Yes.
Especially my hands are more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. The person to put it together, and then you drew that little thing on top and all that. So I think you have to draw a line somewhere. So I prefer to be like this. Okay, people hear me, fine. People want advice, email me, WhatsApp me. I'll be happy to answer and respond, which I do with a lot of people who have car problems. Like now I'm handling 3 people.
How come you sound like you're like Michael Chong in car industry?
Who is Michael Chong? Huh?
Michael Chong is an MCA.
Oh, that Michael Chong. Oh, I love that guy, man. I love that guy.
How come you're like that kind of personality in terms of the car industry? He helps everyone. He helps, yeah.
But he helps everyone in every industry. I'm not helping everyone in every industry, just the car industry. I mean, if you have a marital problem, please don't call me.
Along problem.
If you have an along problem, don't call me, if you have a car or motorcycle problem, you can call me. You can message me. You can email me. As I sometimes take a few days to reply simply because there's too many, and in between I got to do my work.
I still remember I DM you. There was probably 3-4 weeks ago.
Yes.
Then only I understand you're very, you had a lot of preparation for BFM radio and stuff like that.
To be honest, I don't prepare much because you know why? It comes naturally. I'm very lazy when it comes to BFM because I just, few hours before the show, I just prep like, okay, today's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tonight is my show.
Mm.
Okay. I haven't prepped yet.
Are you guys doing live in the radio?
Okay. If I'm busy, then we pre-record.
Pre-record.
But the same day. It has to be the same day simply because the information has to be as current as possible.
As latest as possible.
As latest as possible. So, for example, maybe today is Wednesday. My show is at 8 o'clock. Maybe at 4 o'clock, I'm attending a car launch.
I see.
At that car launch, once the car is unveiled, once I get the price, I don't wait for the dinner and the wayang kulit, all that. The moment I get the price, I get into my car or my motorbike or my scooter or whatever, and I rush back to make sure I'm ready for the show to give that information out, to share that information.
And do the guesstimate as well, right?
Guesstimate. The guesstimate, yes. So that's all very important. Now, if
I see your point.
If there's nothing going on, then we do it in the studio. I prefer to go into the studio and do it because, have you been to BFM office?
No, I have not.
Okay, BFM office is in a building in
Menara Ken.
Menara Ken in Taman Tun.
Yeah.
If you go into the office, they got a wonderful pantry and the coffee is free. So if I go there, I get free coffee.
Yeah. Is it possible for me to go there and serve everyone free coffee?
If you're giving free coffee, I can arrange it.
Of course. I would like to. There are so many people in BFM I look up to.
Okay.
Mali Ali, Frida Liu, Richard,
I
Ko
think
Siu
that-
Chuang.
I think that's a good idea. I will arrange it.
And who's this guy called? There's another one.
You didn't mention any girls' names.
Frida Liu.
Oh, Frida Liu. Oh,
Yeah.
But she's no longer there.
She's no longer there. And who is this? Wong Xiaoning.
Oh, yes, in the morning.
Breakfast Grill.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think if you come in early in the morning like this, and give them free coffee, that day the show ratings all will go up.
I would
They'll be
love
so
to.
perky.
I would love to do this. I would love to do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try and arrange it for you.
Yeah. I would love to serve them coffee early in the morning.
Yes.
Give me a time. I'll be there.
And I'll be there also to get the free coffee, then I'll go home.
I have to be there on Wednesday. Sorry.
Okay, good.
So that you'll be there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's why you guys record in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously during the lockdown, you guys were like 2 years. I heard from the show that you guys were, we are still in the recording from home,
Yes.
separate. Long time never see Richard,
Yes.
stuff
So
like
I
that.
had to overnight set up something like this in my house.
I also listened, your voice got different
Yes.
in terms of quality.
Yes, because I couldn't afford to buy this expensive mic which you're using.
Yeah.
I had to use a cheaper mic.
Which cost 90 ringgit.
Less than that.
Oh, you got to use something like earbuds and
Yes. No, I got proper headphones.
You have a proper headphone.
I got noise cancelling headphones.
I see.
Yeah, because
I see.
where my house is located, my neighbor has got a few dogs. I have a dog also, but my dog is quiet. Their dogs will just go crazy. Like every time one bird go past, one squirrel go past, the dog will
I
go
see.
crazy. So I've got a little setup in my house.
Yeah.
So
Along the way is different one.
Yes,
how come today Daniel sounds better quality
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the studio, it's always better quality.
Obviously.
At home, it sounds a little bit,
Different.
Yes. And then in between, once in a blue moon, the morning show, the business section will call me up and say, today we want to talk about a hot topic, something to do with the auto industry, but something more business related.
I see.
So they call me in as a guest, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to give my viewpoint.
Yeah, I believe you talk about EV industry as well.
EV industry,
Yeah.
and then something about Puspacom, something about Spenco, all this general knowledge related, something that JPJ
Car
is
industry.
doing. In general,
general,
not a
yeah.
specific brand or launch, anything like that. So it's been very good. It's also helped with my listener base.
Yeah.
I've realized that my listener base has slowly increased, not because of my wonderful writing and my wonderful personality,
Yeah.
but because of BFM giving me the opportunity to be on air.
I see.
So I really appreciate what they've done with me.
Yeah. How many years been your cruise control show?
I think now 5 years. 5 years.
Is that much? I think more, right?
Maybe more. I'm not keeping
18,
count.
right? 2018, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
something around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a
So
pretty
what
long
is
time.
what is the next big plan for cruise control?
Cruise control is already
Do
doing
you-
very well.
Do you guys plan to have a longer duration?
I think longer duration might not happen. Maybe
Okay.
can. I don't know. It's up to them to decide. But I'm now trying to propose to them.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first.
Oh my God.
propose to them to start outdoor camping, camper van, holiday slash caravan show.
The show is about.
Camping out, using a caravan, using a camper home, going to a campsite. Because why? I think,
Are you a camping person?
okay,
I like caravan person. Are you?
you see, before I answer that question, I'll tell you something. This is a massive industry in Europe and in America and even Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I believe they eat bread more than rice, right? In those
Yes.
countries, right?
Yes. And in these countries, camping out and having a caravan
Yeah.
and going and pitching a tent or just taking a motorhome and traveling
Yeah.
is big. And it's a huge business. And campsites over there are like almost like a hotel, but outdoors.
Yes.
So in Malaysia, it's growing. The business is growing.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm is growing.
Yeah.
But no one is talking about it. No one is giving it enough relevance. And it's not regulated right now.
Yes, and the show will talk about this industry.
I want to talk about the regulated campsites
Ah,
where
okay.
it's clean.
Is that a weekly show? You
I
plan
want
do?
to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I'm trying to see whether I'm trying to tickle them and see whether we can do this, because then we'll be the only one
Mm-hmm.
in the world doing it.
Wow. Must be a reason why that you're the only one in the world, right?
Yes, because why? Everybody wants visual again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this on YouTube,
Yeah.
but no one is talking about it. No one is advising people like, say, hey, okay, there's a campsite just opened up in, say, Gelang Patah, okay?
Mm.
And it's got proper bathrooms, it's got male and female toilets,
Yeah.
it's got shower facilities. You know, I'm giving an example.
Yeah.
Or there's in Rompin, there's a beautiful stretch of beach. And you can actually pitch a tent there. It's safe. They've got security at night. So if you go there with your family, with your kids, you can be assured safety. See, we want to start doing this because why? Town councils are already starting to realize that this is a possible business venture.
Okay.
Number two, it's also something to talk about the environment. People to go out. You know, you go to a hotel, it's easy. You go
I
to a
think
hotel,
it's very good for domestic vacation.
domestic vacation only
Economy,
increase.
yeah.
Yes. Economy, exactly.
Yeah.
Why go to just a hotel and enjoy the swimming pool and that's it? But something like this, you also talk about nature. We got so many beautiful spots.
Yeah.
You don't need to go and build something there. All you have to do is have a nice piece of land, have a little bit of facilities, have a little bit of food, you know, like stalls or whatever
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
and then have enough education to talk to children about plants,
Natures.
trees, keeping the grounds clean, the beach, don't throw your rubbish there, don't poo in the sea,
Yeah.
go to the toilet and poo. I mean, these are all little things you can also start educating the next generation. Then they'll start appreciating our country. I keep asking people, why you always go holiday a neighboring country? You know, I'm not saying it's bad,
Yeah.
but we have so much here. And then keep our currency here. I mean, look at all the foreigners who come to our country to enjoy our countryside. And we are going and staying in some 5-star hotel and looking at it and saying, I want a big breakfast. That's all we want.
Do you think there are a lot of people, a lot of owners of caravan?
You start seeing them already, but they're not certified caravans. They're not certified.
Yeah,
even
it's like
for
more
safety.
like self, like DIY modified kind of
DIY,
style.
or
right?
they just take a pickup truck and put something at the back. Now, those are fine, but they're not road certified. And then those that with a trailer hook, so the trailer hook is not certified because why? You can't have it connected to the rear brake lights of the trailer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if someone is following you behind, they can't see your vehicle
Brake
brake
light.
lights. They want to see the caravan brake lights working. And this is where you have problems. And then in like heavy rain,
Yeah.
like today's morning, the heavy rain, if you're following one of these things and if you don't see the brake light, you're going to smash it into the back of it. So these are all little issues that we want to bring up. We also want, maybe, you know, we get JPJ involved. Maybe we get the town councils involved. Maybe we get the people who sell certified caravans from overseas or what.
Agree.
To start thinking about production here. Because why? To ask a Malaysian to buy a caravan, the first problem will be, where am I going to park my caravan?
Yes, because most of us, like in the city, we stay in condo.
Condo, you got no parking.
Yeah.
House also no parking. Because you got 3 cars, motorcycle, plus your children's bicycle.
Yeah.
Even you stay in a bungalow house, how are you going to park a caravan? So you must have caravan parks.
Which
Caravan
is
parks?
monthly parking.
Monthly parking, slightly outside the city maybe. Or you have certain locations where it's not popular. You can have these caravan parks. But you can also have companies rental companies to say, okay, I rent you a caravan.
Mm.
So you just take your car. Like in Europe, a lot of people don't buy their caravans.
They rent it.
They rent it. So I want to rent it for a day, say 300 ringgit a day.
I saw some Instagram also. There are some people do rent caravan as well. So I'm not too sure whether it's regulated.
Yeah, it's not regulated right now.
Yeah.
From what I know, it's not regulated. So I give you an example right now.
Mm.
Say now, next year, Hari Raya, or say Chinese New Year,
Yeah.
okay? Your hometown is Perlis.
Mm.
You want to go back to your hometown.
Oh,
You'll be
packed,
thinking,
man.
wow, 9 hours on the road, I'm going to
Yeah.
go crazy. But if I gave you the option of renting a caravan where you can take your 17 kids, your 3 wives, put them in the caravan,
Yeah.
and as you're driving back to the hometown, your kids want to go to the toilet, there's a toilet. If they want a nap, they want a nap. And then say now, after 6 hours journey, you're really tired, you can stop at a caravan park.
Mm.
Because the whole idea is to have caravan parks along the area, which
Yeah.
can be very near big toll plazas, because there's land there. You park your caravan, you hook up to the local power supply, you spend the night in it
Mm.
because you're tired. You don't want to be driving tired. And
Yeah.
then your kids all can sleep there, your wife can sleep there, everything else. You want to make a quick meal, you want to have a drink, you want to have a shower, it's all sorted out. Next morning, you wake up early, you continue your journey.
Mm.
Or if you want to take the whole journey for 9 hours, at least you know you don't have to stop for bathroom breaks,
Mm. Yeah. Understand.
or food breaks or whatever else, you know?
What inspired you have this kind of idea?
Inspire.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by a lot of things.
Yeah. Like what kind of inspiration that you receive, right? You want to pitch this project to BFM.
A few years ago, I went to an event called Art of Speed.
Okay. It's obviously it's car.
It's a car motorcycle tuning
Yeah.
event at
Yeah.
Sedang Maps. And I saw in one of the halls, there were these two separate companies selling, exhibiting tents, equipment for tenting,
For
equipment
cars.
for camping,
Yeah.
for camping.
Yeah.
Just purely camping equipment. That means, like when I was young, I was a Boy Scout, we had tents and all that, but all the cheap stuff. Lah.
Mm.
So I went, I just, I'm a curious Joe. Lah. So I went and started talking to the guys, asking, how much is a tent? How much is this? And I asked him, I said, got people buy. Because not cheap, this stuff are not cheap.
No cheap, man. It's kind of luxury one.
For 4 people, tent for 4 people, including some basic equipment, the bed and this
Yeah.
and that. All.
Yeah.
Wow, almost 15,000, But this is good quality stuff.
Mm.
Then I remember over the years, you had I don't know if you heard this group called Lanun Darat. It was started by Ford. It was for Ford Ranger owners when they first came out. Because Ford was the first company to do lifestyle pickup trucks.
Yeah.
So about 18, 19 years ago, they started this Lanun Darat. And Lanun Darat was very popular. People used to go off-roading and camp. And I actually went with them a couple of times as a journalist. And actually one time when my wife was pregnant, we went. And it was quite funny because, a pregnant lady needs to go to the toilet quite often.
Yeah.
But we went into the jungle. We stayed in the jungle for 3 days, 2 nights. We had such fun, such companionship, such friends. Until today, some of these guys are still friends with us. They still communicate with us and all that. They come
see.
over to our house, have a simple meal, sometimes a barbecue in their house and all that.
I see.
But no one has been taking this further. So you just go and create your own campsite. So it was difficult for like toilet and this and that. So when I saw this at the show a few years ago, I said, hey, this is a good idea to expand it. And the guy said, yeah, but there's no proper campsites in Malaysia and all that. But I said, is your business okay? He said, actually, yes, there are people buying, there are people using, they're spending the money, but they're just going and pitching. You know what I mean? Just go to a piece of land, open the tent, then just make do for 2-3 days. I said,
Yeah.
but what about having proper bathrooms and all that? Because you can have the best tent, the best everything, but you still need bathroom.
Yeah. There's
still-
no facility to.
You still need that
Yeah.
facility. You see, you can cook, but you still need a facility to throw the garbage properly.
Yeah.
So if you just do that, you're just digging a hole and throwing everything inside, which is not right, for the environment. So I was thinking, okay, I thought about it. Then I did a bit of research. Then as the years progress, I realized that more and more companies are doing this. So recently when I went to this travel show in, what do you call the travel show? The one in,
Which
every year
one?
they have.
Oh, damn.
Mata Fair, Mata Fair.
Mata Fair. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Expo.
So I
Okay.
went to Mata Fair and I saw a caravan there for sale. And I spoke to the guy and he said, yeah, we're selling caravans from Germany. He said, we're bringing this because why? A lot of the glamping people are starting to buy caravans.
Yeah.
And I've been glamping before. It's quite interesting. I've taken my kids, so but there's not enough publicity on this. So I thought, if I did something to jumpstart this, then I can get enough mileage
To talk to the town councils and
to talk to the town council, or maybe persuade the town councils to start
Yeah.
thinking about building these facilities
Mhm.
and then letting people pay for it. But if I go with my family, I know that location A in Rumpin will have proper toilets, will have clean water, will have garbage disposal, and then maybe a few stalls nearby, or maybe food outlets nearby for us to go and get a meal or two. But we sleep on the beach.
Mm.
We enjoy the beach, we enjoy the cool air, and at night we're safe because there's some form of security there. Maybe it's there's a 24-hour guard or something. Because why? You got women and kids with you.
Mm.
You don't know
Yeah.
which psycho is going to come along.
Yeah, agree. So that's what you pitching right now to
Yes.
BFM, yeah?
Right.
And what about, I want to ask you about your DSF.MY.
Yes.
What about your next big plan for DSF?
You see, I can't have a big plan because I'm already too big. Does
Which
that
part?
sound arrogant?
Which part?
You heard it here first. No, I've built DSF over the years.
Okay.
I'll tell you this, and I tell this to all my staff.
Yeah.
I've got 7 staff, wonderful guys.
They all work from home, right, by the way?
All work from home.
Yeah.
We've been working from home since day one.
I see.
I've had staff come and go because they can't do this work from home thing. I'm talking about even before COVID.
Yeah.
We've always worked from home.
Mm.
I tell my staff, we don't need to be number 1. We don't need to be number 2. We don't need to be even number 5. As long as we're in the top 10, as long as people respect our channel, as
Yeah.
long as they respect our information to be correct,
Mm.
as long as we don't do clickbait articles.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes people say, "Oh, this is a clickbait article." Well, if I put a title based on what I think is right for SEO,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean it's clickbait. It just means that I want to get your attention.
Mm.
Okay. We don't need to be famous. We don't need to be top 10. I mean, top 3. I don't need to be walking around and people asking me, "Hey, I read your article." I don't need all that.
Mm.
I want to be a simple person on the road. I like to take LRT when I go into town.
Mhm.
Sometimes I take LRT. You have to wear a mask, right? Sometimes when I take off the mask, because when you come out in the station, you can take off the mask. I don't need someone to come and say, "Hey, are you so and so?" I don't need all that. I know some of my competitors love that, and I'm happy that you love that, and I'm happy that you enjoy that. But I don't enjoy that. My staff over the years have already come to do that. That is why we're not big with YouTube or TikTok and
Yeah.
all this. We are more content driven.
Yeah.
Of course, car companies can come and tell us, "Oh, we want a video, we want this." Video is so tiresome to do. Because why? If you want to get traffic in a video, you got to do something silly. You either got to do something silly or you got to get some cleavage and long legs. I have guys.
Richard long legs.
I have guys in my team. Some of them have long legs, but they're not very attractive. Some of them, their cleavage is not very nice.
Okay.
Okay? So I look at them and I say, no need lah, it's okay. We just do good content. Good English, good content, no rubbish. Of course, we have videos. We have a YouTube channel.
I saw some of it,
DSF.MY has a YouTube
Yeah.
channel. We have a TikTok channel because we are forced to do it. It's part of the whole process.
Yeah.
But we don't do it daily. We don't do it aggressively. We don't pay for boosting. We don't pay for sponsored posts. If you look at all our posts on DSF, which is put on Facebook, nothing is sponsored.
I see.
Nothing is boosted. Why? Because I believe in organic traffic. No matter what you do with boosting, you end up getting people from third world countries coming and reading. Even when you put in, we have tried it before, because some clients say, "Oh, I want this article boosted. I'll pay you a little bit of money to boost it." Because we are promoting something. When they do a weekend promo and all that.
I see.
We can say only Malaysia. We can say only the age. But you read the comments. The comments come out are ridiculous.
From
now-
foreign
Yeah.
countries, yeah.
Foreign countries, even they might be locals. They might be foreigners here because they're residing in Malaysia. But
Yeah.
it's all rubbish comments. The language is rubbish. I don't want to deal with rubbish comments and rubbish language, because why? That means these people are less educated and they don't have money to buy even the cheapest car. I want to deal with people who speak, read, write, with some conscience and some credibility lah.
I see.
Because then they are able to go in and buy a car.
I see.
We still have a whole population that can't afford a car.
Yes,
Right?
agree.
But they'll be watching YouTube. They'll be watching TikTok. Because why? They don't have a job. They don't have a full-time job. They don't even work when they're in the office. Because this is that demographic, yeah?
Yeah.
And what do? They watch TikTok. Like sometimes someone tell me, oh, my event is at 2:00 in the afternoon. I want it to be posted, published immediately. So you see all my competitors, all their staff will come with laptops now.
Yeah.
The moment the car is launched, I mean, you've been for car launches, you've seen, they'll start uploading, My staff, none of them bring a laptop to events. They come with their camera, they walk around, they do their their short video or their
The clips,
picture, clips, whatever. They sit down, they have a cup of coffee, they have a, whatever sandwich or whatever that's being presented there or being provided there. Then they talk to the product guy, they talk to the marketing person, get some information, and tell them, now you go home and publish the story. So when staff started coming in, they said, Daniel, why don't we do like the rest? I said, listen, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Who's our audience? Working people, because working people can afford a car, motorcycle.
Yeah.
Working people are not sitting in their office waiting for this information. Because why? They don't even know there's a launch at 2:00.
Yeah.
They are supposed to be at their desk working or in a meeting or in a car or whatever. When do they check for this? They check for this at 6:00 when they finish work, or 4:00 when they take a cigarette break, or maybe lunchtime, or maybe before work, so they don't, because why? They're rushing to work. Most of it happens in the evening, and by the time you go back, type out this article, put in some relevant information which you've taken from the product planner or from the marketing person, you've got a solid article ready for people to read and understand.
I see.
So I let my competitors do what they want to do. I don't want to compete with them on timeline.
How may I ask, how many players are there? Someone like car reviewers?
Serious players, I would say 20.
20.
20 in 3
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
Okay? Should be 4 languages, but only 3.
Yeah. You're talking about Tamil, Chinese, and English lah.
No, Malay, English, and Chinese. Tamil, nobody got lah. There's no Tamil car reviewer.
No, just messing with you.
Maybe I should do it. Maybe I should do it, huh?
Maybe you should do it.
Yeah.
So also this come back to your caravan kind of a car show, right? Let's assume, yeah, is there any plan B? Let's say BFM do not buy it.
Well, if I'm not saying BFM has to buy it, I'm just saying it's a good platform. But if BFM says no, we're really not interested, or maybe it's too infant right now,
Yes.
I'm going to do it online.
You're talking about you're gonna do it as a podcast format?
No, I'll just start having it in DSF.
I
That means
see.
a subsection of DSF. Right now, DSF, you got subsection, you got auto news, you got car reviews, you got some, auto tech, not
Yes.
tech news.
Yeah.
Then you got used car reviews and motorcycles. So I'll just add another one lah. Camping,
Okay.
outdoors,
I
whatever.
see. Photos and videos.
And then I'll start putting in lah.
Mm.
Information as I get it,
Mm.
information as we research it, start getting the thing going. But you see, to do it online will take a long time. If I got it on radio, boom, it'll be faster because it's voice, it's heard, it's understood. Or maybe I can do it simultaneously. I don't know.
You can do it with Spotify as well.
Yeah.
You do it with Spotify as well.
Yeah. At the moment, it's all just in the air, lah. But I'm just seeing how it goes, lah.
I see. Yeah. So we are at the 1 hour mark.
Right.
You're saying you have to leave right before.
Yeah, because you're paying me to only. I mean, the money that you're paying me, which is 300,000, is just for 1 hour. Once we cross the 1 hour mark, it's another 300,000. Ringgit, ringgit.
So myself just use another hour. Right?
Well, I can give you a discount, lah. I can give you. You're a nice guy. I'll give you a discount. lah.
But really honored that I have you.
No,
and
thank
talk
you.
about
Thank you for
all
having
these
me.
insights and all talking about all these, the questions that we have in our mind that we cannot get answer from.
Yes.
I'm not sure that you're aware. I do comment at Spotify Q&A session, but it seems like nobody answered that as well.
Okay. The thing is, I don't have Spotify. I'm so busy with DSF and everything running around for DSF.
Yeah,
I don't have time for a lot. I don't even watch YouTube.
I see.
Some people come up to me and say, "Oh, did you see this guy? This My so-called competitor. He did this YouTube
what is your favorite pastime then if you don't do all this? You just polishing your cars at home?
Okay, number one, I wash all my cars. I valet all my cars. Okay.
Okay.
Once a year, I'll go for a professional job.
Okay.
With my good friend Raymond. Okay.
Raymond from
Raymond from Shine and Shield. I mean,
Okay.
I've known him for years. Once a year, I'll take
detailing company.
detailing company. He's an
Yeah.
old school guy. I like him because he's not branches, he's everything else.
Mm.
So once a year, I'll take one car once a year. I go to him. He does a complete thorough job for me. Body work, interior, everything else. Then after that, I just do the maintenance. Now, every test car I get, every week I get a test car. Like
Yeah.
tomorrow, I'm collecting a test car. Every test car I get, I hand wash it.
Oh, really? For real?
Yes. Yes.
After
Even-
you're tested or
No.
before? Before.
Before, after doesn't matter, but I will hand wash it while it's in my hands. Now, whether it's dirty or not, I'll hand wash it. So a lot of people think I'm a bit cuckoo. It's not that I get free water and soap. Now, first of all, I have 4 cloths to wash a car. Different parts of the car, different cloth. Exterior, interior is different.
Yeah.
The soap I use is a very specialized soap. Even the car washers don't use it. Okay. Now, the reason why I do it, number one, is I want to clean the car. When I wipe down the car,
Then you take photos and
no. I'll tell you why. When I wipe down the car with soap or with water or whatever I'm doing in terms of the area, I get a feel of the car build quality.
I see.
The grille, the bodywork, the fenders, the bumpers, right down to even the wheels. When you wipe down the wheels, you get, the design of the wheels.
The feeling, yeah.
The feeling. I know it sounds a bit silly, but I get a feeling of how well built this car is.
Yeah.
Also, I get a feeling of the sheer size of the car because, like, if it's a normal sedan, if I can reach, I'm not a tall guy, I'm not tall like you, but when I can reach over half of the roof, I know, okay, this car is normal size. If I can't even reach half the roof, I say, Alamak, how to park this car? Things like that. Headlamp. Also, when you hand wash a car, you realize how well built a car is in terms of fit and finish.
Now I got the idea. So when you hand wash the car, you get every detail.
Yes.
So you observe every detail.
Right. So, like now I'm holding this glass.
Yeah.
Now, if I wash this glass, which you wash by hand, you don't put it in a washing machine. You feel the
glass.
glass,
Design
the concave,
everything.
you
Design
see how
everything.
nice it is. Now, if there's a small chip here, you'll feel it with your fingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you take a mug like you're having on your table, you'll also feel how the thing is constructed. So just like that with a car, it's got so many surfaces, so many corners, so many edges. So you feel it. And then suddenly you come to the plastic bits, you'll feel the plastic bits. Suddenly you'll come to, the EV charging bay which you open, or the flap for the EV, or for the plug, or the flap for the fuel. You suddenly say, hey, that's plastic. The rest of the car is aluminium or metal or carbon fiber, And then paint finish. When you wash a car, you realize how good or bad the paint finish is.
I see.
So I've come up to the point of understanding all this. I may not transmit all this in terms of words in my article because I can't say, hey, this car paint quality is shite. This car, the bumper gap is terrible. Because why? They will never give me a car after that. It's a fact. If you give a negative review on a car, you'll never get the car again.
Anymore.
You'll have to wait for the next product manager to come to say, never mind, I'll give this guy a chance. I can tell you right now, there are 5 car companies that don't deal with me.
Oh, okay.
5 car brands. 3 are luxury car brands, so I don't care. You're luxury.
Yeah.
You don't need me to sell a car.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to sell a car because you're a luxury brand.
Yeah.
And you're you're such a high-end brand that people
Would die
aspire
hard.
to own your brand.
Yeah.
It's like a Patek Philippe. Nobody says, I want a Patek Philippe unless they got serious money to go and buy a Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody says, I want a Chanel handbag because they love the way it looks. They want it because it's a Chanel handbag.
Yeah, it's a status, right?
Yes. Nobody wakes up in the morning saying, my dream is to own a Rolex. No. They buy the Rolex because they want to be seen to be successful.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at the Rolex watch and say, hey, what a beautiful watch. Okay, Daytona is beautiful. But I'm wearing a 25-year-old Seiko watch.
Yeah.
It tells time.
Yes.
It looks reasonably attractive. It's okay. So I look at it, that's the same thing with luxury cars. The other 2 brands is because the bosses are racist. And I won't mention the brands.
I see.
But because they're racist, we live in a world where there's racism everywhere, even in our wonderful country.
Yeah.
So if the bosses are racist, I'm fine with that. If you don't want to deal with my kind of people, it's fine. I'm not going to be angry with you. Your loss. And the fact is, both these brands are suffering.
Oh, see. I see.
Not because of me. Not because of me.
Because of you did not review the cars.
Because I didn't review the cars.
Because you didn't review
I didn't
the
run
cars.
their news. You know what I mean? Even now, they're selling their cars at heavy discount. So it's okay. I leave it to them. No problem.
I see. So you wash your cars every single time you receive one.
Every single car is washed.
But I believe you're not the only one who received. I believe some cars receive to your employees, right?
Yes. My employees, we share 50-50 lah.
Yeah, because or else you're just busy washing car every day.
Correct. I'll just be like the car wash guy lah.
Yeah.
So the cars that I review, I wash. The cars that they review, they don't wash lah, of course lah, because they all live in condos.
Yeah.
Sadly, they all live in condos lah. But sometimes, if they take a car, I'll tell them, okay, can we swap just for a day? So I just want to get a feel. You do the review, but I just want to get a feel. Sometimes because I love cars, sometimes they're taking this car. I say, no, just I've got a test car, so you just come by my house, we swap. And then I'll straight away wash the car. Or, I'll wait until it stops raining or whatever, then I'll wash the car. Then I'll say, oh, this car quite... And then the next day, we just swap back, Like, the car I'm getting tomorrow, I'll be swapping my stuff on Saturday.
I see. I see.
So, we do things like that,
I see. So, I believe you are Volkswagen fan, GTI fan, right? Do you still own a GTI?
I used to own 3 GTIs. Actually, no, 2 GTIs and 1 Corrado.
Okay.
Corrado is a very unusual car. One of the GTIs, which is a Mark V Golf GTI manual, 6-speed manual, was driven by my wife for 9 years. I bought it for her. Before that, she had all Volkswagens, all Golfs, all GTIs. Her first car when she married me was a Toyota Starlet KP61 rear-wheel drive manual.
Okay.
I got her interested in cars. She wasn't a car person. I got her interested in cars. And I told her the only way to enjoy these cars is to drive a manual. So she had a manual. And then at one point, there was an automatic in between for a short while, Mark III. And then we went back to manual. And then the last car was a manual, the Golf GTI Mark V. After 9 years, we sold it. Because traffic became so bad. She works in a high traffic area.
So manual doesn't work anymore.
Not that it doesn't work, it's just becoming more difficult.
Very, very tiring to drive,
very
right?
tiring, and then she has to drive in peak traffic because she works in an office. So now she's got an SUV. She's always wanted an SUV, but I always deterred her because I didn't see the need for an SUV because we're not going off road. We're not going high country driving.
We're not having a flood
Yes.
anymore.
No, even flood. So where she goes, there's no flood lah. Where she works, there's no flood. But she wanted an SUV. Women at some point they want something a bit bigger and everything else.
Yes.
So I got her a second-hand SUV, a premium SUV, second-hand one. She's driving. Of course, it's automatic. She loves it so much now because it's so much easier in traffic as traffic gets worse. So I still have my manual cars. I also have a Mazda MX-5 manual.
Oh, you bought it back again?
I bought another one.
You bought another one, same model?
Same model, first gen.
The one that you sold off 20 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
My first one was a Penang plate car, also a manual. Had to sell it during the hard times before when the financial crisis came. This one I bought exactly 19 years ago. I bought it 2 days after my youngest son was born. I saw the car just before my wife gave birth. I told the car dealer, please hold the car for me. Because I knew the owner. And the owner was actually supposed to sell the car directly to me. But at that time, the owner needed cash fast. So she gave it to a used car dealer who was my friend. And I told him, I said, hold the car for me. My wife is about to give birth. I got to arrange everything. I'll come back and see you after she's given birth. So 2 days after she gave birth, I took over the car. I had it since. It's a lovely car.
What is the sentimental value for MX-5 for you?
It's not sentimental. It's just
How come you buy the second time?
Because I think it's one of the best cars to drive.
Okay.
It's not fast. It handles so well. You sit in the car, it's small, it's compact, it's just under 1,000 kg, it's light. It's just got a 1.6 engine. Nice short throw gearbox. I've not modified the car at all. It's stock standard. The only thing I did was the radio, because the radio was a Japanese radio. Everything else is original. It doesn't even have upgraded suspension. I'm using the original suspension because I like the fact that I can swing around a corner. I can, get the tail to wiggle a little bit.
I see.
I don't need to go fast because if
see.
I want a fast car, I just get an electric car from one of the car manufacturers.
Yeah. This is my next question I want to ask you. What's your take on EVs?
I think EVs are not the next best thing. Okay, I think it's a stopgap where the Europeans and Americans just want clean air and they want the rest of the world to build it. They want to have the clean air. If they had the factories and the mining in their countries, in their backyard, then the whole scenario will be different. If EVs are so great, why are all the world leaders still driving combustion engine cars? You watch TV. I mean, for me, it's very simple. You watch TV, you watch any international news. If you watch a world leader arriving anywhere, it's a combustion engine car. The Americans are not driving Teslas. None of the ministers are driving Teslas and going for meetings. Okay, the Europeans are not driving any German electric cars and going for meetings. They are forcing the Asians to do it. China has answered the call, and everybody is turning to EV because why? China is a business.
China is the biggest battery manufacturer in the world.
Exactly, but China is just a business. So if you Europeans and Americans want EVs, we'll give it to you. We'll sell it to you by the millions, no problem. But don't lift sanctions on it. And China is overtaking everybody in terms of EV tech. When you look at what China is producing in terms of an electric car, they are way ahead of the Europeans and Americans. Tesla is there. The fanboy base is huge. There's nothing wrong with their cars. But they are a technology company. Their build quality is not great. Their paint finish is not great. Okay? But people are fascinated by the tech, which is fine. Tell me now what's going to happen when we run out of all the minerals to do these batteries. They say it's everlasting. I'm fine with that. Why is the Middle East not embracing electric cars?
They are the heaviest oil production countries.
Yes.
Yeah, region.
But they don't buy a lot of electric cars.
They don't.
They don't buy a lot at all. They buy very few electric cars. So it's you're lying to yourself, lah. Meanwhile, people ask me, "Oh, why are you against electric car?" I'm not against electric car. For me, it's very simple. The main component of electric car is a battery.
Yes.
This is my analysis. Today, I look at a battery. Say now you look at your laptop now. Your laptop battery is say the size of your handphone, lah. Okay. Now, over the years, your laptop battery has failed, right?
Yeah. Over years.
I mean, you've had laptops before.
Depreciate. Yeah.
They might depreciate. They just fail, lah. I mean, it wears out. It's normal. When you want to change the battery, you have to change back to the original battery, right? But say now there's a newer laptop. Say now your laptop brand is A. You have to use brand A battery. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Few years down the line, brand B has got a better battery.
Yeah, that's the
Can
thing.
you take brand B battery and put in your brand A laptop?
Cannot swap it over, right?
Cannot swap. That's my thing. So now I'm driving a Nissan Leaf. First generation Nissan Leaf, which Tan Chong brought in, sold handful of units. Now some of those cars are sitting idle right now. The battery is 68,000 ringgit. It's a huge battery and it only goes less than 150 kilometers driving range.
Yeah.
But now from China, you have cars, batteries that can go 400, 500 kilometers. Can I buy that battery and put into this Nissan Leaf and revive it? No. So what do I do with the Nissan Leaf? Scrap heap. You talk about recycling, you're talking about this, you're talking about that, environment and all
friendly.
that. And you're building these cars to be thrown into the scrap heap. And you can't revive them because $68,000 ain't going to be a revivable sum. Now, when I go to China and I've been to China a few times already now in the last few years, and I'm going again soon. I see these electric car companies, massive development, fantastic. Driving distance is going further. So one of the companies, I won't mention the name, they showed me a car that can go 600 kilometers. Easily 600 kilometers. Car is full of tech. It's wonderful. It's build quality. I didn't hand wash it, but I could tell the build quality was good. I was very impressed with it. Then they took us to their R&D center. The same trip, the R&D center, they took us and they showed us a battery that can go 1,100 to 1,200 kilometers.
That's crazy.
Next generation battery.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Okay. And the battery is half the size.
Oh my God.
So the moment the battery is half the size, it's half the weight. The moment the battery is half the weight, it can go further because it's lighter. And electric cars being heavy, they handle very badly on bad surfaces. They handle great on the highway, smooth surface. But on a bad surface, it handles terribly. You take it around a racetrack, it is terrible to drive an electric car because it's 2 tons plus. That weight is just, bouncing around. No matter what kind of sporting suspension you have. Straight line is fine. So I asked them, I said, in your R&D center, this new battery, can I take it and put it into your current electric car, say 10 years from now when the battery fails? No, you got to buy a new car.
Oh my.
So what's going to happen to the old car?
Just imagine that not 2 more years, it could be like 2,000 kms.
Yes.
The battery technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this 1,100, 1,200 km.
Yeah.
Also, the best part is the battery lasts even longer.
Oh, okay.
It can last 12, 13, 14, 15 years. So if you come and ask me now why I'm not a fan of electric cars, it's not that I'm not a fan. I think it's great, but why can't I swap the batteries? That's number one. Number two, if the battery technology is evolving not by 10%, 20%, by 40, 50, 90, 100%, what's going to be the resale value of my current electric car 3 years from now? Don't talk about 5, 6, 7 years. 3 years from now. If you go into the used car market right now and you look at cars, electric cars that have been around for 3, 4 years, the resale values are plummeting. Not only that, people advertise high price. When they advertise high price, because why? They still have loan, what? So say they bought the car for 200,000, now they advertise for 120. They just want to cover the loan. Then people say, the car is worth 120. I said, no, that is 120 advertised. What is the final transacted price? You go and see used car dealers. The big used car dealers will tell you, I don't take. No, sir, I want to sell my. No, I don't want your car. They don't want to buy electric car. The smaller used car dealers taking a bit of risk, they will buy the electric car. Then you see what they're doing, they're using it every day.
They themselves using it every day.
Cannot sell what?
Yeah.
I've seen a few used car dealers driving around. PGA area, Oakland Road area. I recognize some of them, I know, because I go and talk to them and all that. Then I ask them, how do you sell? After a while, they say, I lose money, never mind, sell. Because they also say, I can't keep the stock. No, I mean, no. So, advertised 120, transacted maybe 90, 95, 98. So, I think this is a trend like the smartphone. People want it, people desire it. But what happens to your smartphone when it fails? You throw it away.
You throw it away.
So, you're going to throw away your electric car.
Buy a new one.
Buy a new one.
Yeah.
But a smartphone is 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. This is something costing 150, 180, 200, 250, 300,000.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Right now I believe right now it's almost there because you need to go off
Yes.
at 10:30. I have one invitation for you.
Yes, sir. What's the invitation? Your wedding?
No.
Please invite me to your wedding.
Because
I know you're married, but you might marry another one.
No, we are planning to do a podcast workshop.
Okay.
We might want to do a live podcast.
Okay.
And obviously, live podcast, that means a live guest
Okay.
and live host.
Okay.
Not sure when, could be 2 months from now.
Okay.
It will be a collaboration with another podcast channel, which
Okay.
is honest guy like me, working class like me as well.
Okay.
So you might want to consider that. So it would be great. I have friends who really want to listen to live you talking.
And
Yeah.
I'll be happy to come back because free coffee.
I will connect with you again.
Okay.
I'll pitch this idea to my another channel, another
Okay.
podcast channel. Then only I'll come back to you.
Ken, no problem.
But
No problem.
it's my honor to host you again. I cannot say enough about this.
Thank you. Thank you very
Been
much.
listening to your show for half a decade. Finally meet you,
Okay.
and we've been talking like old friend. To me, not sure about you.
Same here. Same here. You're like an old friend. I have to say that because I got free coffee.
But thanks for coming.
Most welcome.
Daniel?
Most welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Coffee and the Company podcast. Me, myself, Dennis.
Daniel Fernandez from DSF.MY.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.